Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very well. Today, I am being joined by Ben from Forest Fan TV. Big up to yourself, mate. Thanks for jumping on the channel. First time you've ever been on.
It is, yeah. No, thank you for having me on. We're looking forward to playing Chelsea at the weekend. I dare say. So it'd be good to get into it and discuss what we think is going to happen in the match.
We've had some good games over the years, especially from our perspective. The last two. I remember under Poch when we went there last season, we were down and we came back. That was like a pivotal moment for us. And then obviously cementing Champions League last season with what was a pretty tough year for us, if I'm honest, up until the end where we sort of finished on a high. But it's a really weird thing watching Nottingham Forest. Obviously, I don't watch a ridiculous amount of games, but I did enjoy tuning in when Nuno was there. I always felt like he's obviously a very pragmatic manager, but he's one of the few pragmatic managers that plays really attractive football at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just talking football. I mean, we can get into the politics of it.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I don't understand why you got rid of him. I don't get it.
So what we've heard from the club effectively is Nuno had a falling out, we think, with Edu. I can't say that 100%, but allegedly what has happened is Marinakis has brought Edu in to look after his football clubs. And somewhere down the line, Edu has fallen out with Nuno. So I don't think anybody wanted Nuno to go. Obviously, Nuno last season, absolutely fantastic. Like, to take Forest to where we were and then obviously getting bumped up to that Europa League spot was fantastic. And I think in hindsight as well, I'm sure a lot of fans would rather have him here now instead of Ange. But I don't think he left because of the football. There was some type of misunderstanding behind the scenes. There was, a now infamous Sky interview where Nuno came out and said he's effectively fallen out with the owner. And from there, it just tumbled. And 3 or 4 weeks later, he was gone. So, look, in hindsight, I'm sure Marinakis must have some regret. But what can you do if you fall out with the ownership? Marinakis is the type of owner. I think some people misunderstand Marinakis as well, because they say that he's very kind of gung-ho, that he makes these decisions lightly and he something triggers him and he's gone. And I don't think that's true at all. He takes his time to assess the situation. But if somebody does upset him, if he falls out with someone, then realistically that you can pretty much tell that they're gone. So obviously Nuno went, massive disappointment. The football was brilliant last year. And one of the biggest disappointments now is that we wanted to build on last year. And unfortunately, looking what's happened to us, we're a point or so above a relegation place.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, you were saying to me earlier, obviously, looking at your recent fixtures, you haven't actually won a game under Postecoglou.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not just about results. If you can see that there's something that's starting to click, because it is a new style of play. Like I'm guilty of it with Maresca. I wasn't happy with what I saw, but I did see improvements. So that was like, okay, it's taking a little bit of time. But I mean, based on the matches you're seeing any signs of something positive?
The thing is, like, despite people not wanting Nuno to go, when he did go, what we wanted to see is more attacking football, because Nuno was quite defensive. He didn't really play a low block, but he was, kind of mid-block tactics, very counter-attacking style. When Ange came in, everybody thought, right, so-called Ange ball is going to start. We're going to have 10 people across the halfway line, and we're going to score loads of goals, and we're going to concede loads of goals. Unfortunately, we have been conceding loads of goals. We've been conceding, 3 goals in pretty much on average. So the worrying thing for me is that in the last match, after basically getting slapped down each match, he decided to go 5 at the back. So now he's
against Newcastle.
Yeah, so now he's doubting his own tactics now. So he's realizing that we're conceding way too many goals. He's changing it up and going 5 at the back, which is fine, but it's not what he's used to playing. And so what's happened is, not only are we losing games, we're not getting results, but we're not seeing attractive football either. So this kind of entertaining football, which we think of when we think of Ange ball, is not happening. We're sitting back and defending, and we're just conceding loads of goals. So it's frustrating, and I don't want to speak on behalf of other Forest fans, but we ran a poll on Forest Fan TV, and 72%. This is going back probably 2 weeks. 72% of the people on that in that chat were Ange out already. So it just shows you, like, he's been in the club, what, 4 or 5 weeks? He's had 7 matches, and 4 matches in, people wanted him gone. I'm not quite there personally, because I think he does need a bit longer. And this international break will have given him, you know, probably 3 or 4 more training sessions with the core team. But everything rides on this match. So Chelsea Football Club could literally sack Ange Postecoglou on Saturday. It's basically down to that. If he loses, I think he's gone. And we're hearing that, you know, in the waiting is people like Sean Dyche, and some of his team is, you know, ex-Forest players, etc. But Sean Dyche, for me, is the type of guy.
You're just going back to square one.
Well, this is the thing. You're bringing in a manager, for me, who is there to avoid relegation. Like, the building blocks that Nuno put there last season was fantastic. I mean, being a Forest fan, and I'm sure you've seen Wolfie and all the chest he's given across all the different podcasts. Being a Forest fan last season was great. Okay, we fell off at the end, but obviously something was happening behind the scenes. But this season is such a disappointing. It's so disappointing. And if we don't catch up and make something right quickly, we could genuinely be in a position where we're battling relegation. So something needs to change. I personally don't want Sean Dyche in, but if Ange goes and loses on Saturday, you know, what options do you have? You can't just keep losing matches. Marinakis is not going to stand for it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, just from my perspective as a Chelsea fan, I feel pretty confident, mate. I feel like we're playing you at the best possible time. Because, like you said, it's almost like when we played Man United. We ended up losing that game because Sanchez got a red card. But I thought this is brilliant. You know, Amorim's under pressure. They're saying if he loses, he could get sacked. We ended up losing. But again, different situation, different manager, different type of tactics as well. Yeah. And we always struggle against United at Old Trafford, in fairness. But I do feel like, you know, if you're leaving lots of gaps, if you're giving us opportunities, Maresca's system has proven that against low blocks it struggles. But as soon as we come up against a team who want to play football, we will find those spaces, we will exploit them. And that's where his tactics are really effective. And obviously, you know, we have enough quality to take advantage of that.
I mean, even with, you know, Cole Palmer being out, and I know you've got several injuries as well, but the players you have in that starting 11, you know, you've got a world-class team there. So, and I could be wrong, but I don't think Ange is going to come out and play low block again, because I think so basically what happened last match is the Forest fans were singing to Ange, "You're going to be sacked in the morning." So I think he has got to come out, and from a psychological point of view, he basically needs to play entertaining football. He's probably got to win the game, but at the very least, try and get a draw and play some entertaining football. Now, look, I would love to sit here and say we're going to win, but I'm really struggling with confidence in this team, because the players don't look like they want to play for him. The tactics have gone out the window. Like I say, he's playing low block 1 week. He's trying to attack 1 week. Our only saving grace that we've seen since Ange came in is the first half of football against Real Betis in the Europa League was some of the best football we've played in years. It was really exciting. It was, the passing was on point, the possession was on point. We had a ton of shots on goal, and I mean, when we saw that, everyone was like, "Wow, if this is Ange ball, let's roll with it. This is amazing." But it's just been downhill since then. So if he was to come out and try and replicate that, what that formation looks like basically is a 4-3-3.
Right.
It's interesting, though, because Morgan Gibbs-White in that game was effectively played as a winger, whereas usually he'd be playing as like a number 10 or a central attacking midfielder. He was played as a winger in that game, but it actually worked quite well. But that, for me, is the only chance we've got. And like I say, who knows? Maybe he will impress us. Maybe they've been having some really good training sessions. and things are going to click together. But being up against a team like Chelsea, I think you guys, did you beat Liverpool last match as well?
Yes, yeah, we beat them.
You were a team in form coming to the City ground. The City ground for us used to be a fortress. This season it's not. So I'm worried. I think a lot of fans are feeling the same way. I mean, the ticket. So for the last 4 years that we've been in the Premier League, it's nearly impossible to get tickets at the City ground. The City ground holds about 30,000 fans.
Right.
If you go on the Forest website today, there's probably nearly 100 tickets available against Chelsea.
Wow.
A home match against Chelsea Football Club, and there's nearly 100 tickets available. People have got no confidence in this manager. And if we've got no confidence in him as a fans, then God knows what the players are thinking. So we'll see on the day. But I'm struggling to sit here and say it's going to be positive. We're going to win. I'd love to do it, but I've got to be realistic based on what I've seen in the recent form.
I mean, me personally, I am actually a fan of Ange, and I think he's done a great job at Tottenham. And I do think it was the right decision to sack him, but I definitely think he could have done well at another job. But I think it's the wrong job. I don't think that from where you were to where you're going, the trend is not going upwards anymore. Nuno did that. And I think that Postecoglou needs to go to a club where he could bring them on that trajectory. And like we saw at Tottenham, like they'd gone from Mourinho, Conte, not very attractive football, and everyone loved it. And obviously you include the results. And now he's not getting the results. I think a lot of fans like Nuno anyway, regardless of the style.
100%, yeah.
What he brought to the club. But I mean, from our perspective, I'm feeling pretty good. Like we've got a few players who are hopefully going to come back from injury. Andre Santos, Reece James, Enzo Fernandez, potentially Cole Palmer, but we're not entirely sure, to be fair. Fofana as well, Tosin, potentially Chalobah as well, because he had his suspension. So he's available. So there's a number of players that can come back into the fold. But I mean, I'm excited to see, how we can play against a team after yet another international break, and just find that rhythm and fluidity and that confidence as well. One thing that I think Forest, this is where you're on a different stage to us, is we're very much settled in Maresca's tactics. Like we know what we're going to get. We know what he's going to do. It's just a case of, can we execute that? And also, I think we're a huge victim of relying on other teams to play a certain brand of football in order to sort of play into our hands at times. Liverpool, there was a few gaps in there, and we were able to exploit that. And I think if Ange goes out there and tries to play gung-ho football, or just any form of attacking football, in fairness, that will be absolutely fine. But if for whatever reason you go there with a low block, you sit there and defend, very uncharacteristic. That for us has proven to be more of a challenge over the years than actually a team coming at us. But it's a home game, so you've got to find the balance.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The fans don't really want to see it. But so when we used to play low block under Nuno, the reason it worked so well is because Alanga, who has now gone to Newcastle, one of the fastest players in the league, we could counter so well. Our counter-attack was one of the best in the league because we could break away, pass the ball to Alanga, and he would effectively get the ball up the pitch. Yeah. We've lost a bit of that speed at the moment. So some of our wingers, great signings on paper, people like Bakwa, for example, done really well in other leagues, but they've come to Forest and they haven't hit the ground running yet. Now, hopefully that changes. But at the moment, our kind of counter-attack, I feel like we've almost lost it as an identity. And what we're trying to do instead is play more of a possession-based football. So the possession under Ange has been pretty much better than any match that Nuno played. But at the end of the day, we're not getting the goals, which is obviously the result is the main thing. It's fine having all this possession, but it's such a different style from what was working for us last year, and it's clearly not working for us this year. And what we tend to struggle against is teams who control the midfield. So I don't know if people like, Caicedo are going to be starting, for example. But if you control that midfield against us, then we will seriously struggle, because the football we're trying to play at the moment. Don't forget as well that Chris Wood is injured. So
he hasn't been great under.
He hasn't been. The thing is, like, to be fair to Chris Wood, and none of our players have been great this season. Something hasn't quite clicked yet. The one player that has been pretty decent is Jesus, Igor Jesus, who will probably start on Saturday. But again, he needs that service from, you know, people running down the wings. And if you can stop that, or if you can stop the ball through the middle, I think we're really going to struggle against you. But if our players step up, you never know. Like players like Anderson, he's been absolutely fantastic for England. I think he's won man of the match in 2 of the last 3 games. If he steps up, then maybe it'll be us controlling the midfield. Yeah. Douglas Luiz is coming back in. He looked really, really good, and I think he's been a massive loss since he went out injured. So it could all change. It's just the results we've been having have been pretty poor. And then I'm presuming, like most fans of other clubs, they would say someone like Morgan Gibbs-White is our biggest threat. Again, if Morgan Gibbs-White is on form, he's an excellent football player. But the where we differ from a club like Chelsea is we lack consistency. So we have fantastic players, but we're not consistent, and that's what's hurting us at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting as well talking about Igor Jesus as well. Like, what can you tell Chelsea fans about Jesus? Because a lot of people might not know about him.
Sure.
How is he a threat? What's he good at? And it sounds to me like he's going to be your most threatening player based on his form this season.
Yeah. So his kind of ball control is really good. But he's not a traditional striker in the sense that he takes the ball and runs through and shoots on goal. He's also very strong, so he can hold the ball up, which is something Chris Wood is not well known for. He can head the ball really well. So for me, he's almost like the perfect mixture of Chris Wood and his own striker in the sense that he can have that bit of pace and run through the middle. To be honest, he looks like an all-round decent striker, and I think he'll go far. Again, it's just game time. Like, he needs time on the training pitch. At the moment, Ange is always switching between Wood and Jesus. We've also got another backup striker who was brought in for, I think, about 30 million called Kali Muendo. So we've got some good players, but Ange needs to sort them out. And whatever his tactics have been in these last few training sessions, I just hope that he's got it right and he's instilled some type of passages of play to try and get on goal, because the one thing we do lack is shots on goal. And if Jesus gets into the box and there's no one there to tackle him, I'm pretty confident he'll get that ball in the back of the net. He will be a big threat, but the main worry is if we can actually get the ball to him in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have always been renowned as a team that. But to be fair, I always thought even under Nuno you could score quite a lot of goals. So I mean, I can't even use that argument. But you're always very good defensively. I mean, that was your number one thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And when we look at the goals you're conceding, the changing system is going to have a factor in that. But I look at some of the players. Murillo is one of them. Oleina, Milenkovic as well. These are players that perform really, really well. Who is actually pulling their weight in defense? Because even I remember when we had some dire seasons and we were playing badly, there was always, 1 or 2 players that were okay, but it takes one mistake for everything to fall apart. Is there an area that you think that Chelsea should target?
Yeah, so just going back a bit, prior to Milenkovic joining, we had one of the worst records for goals conceded by set pieces. So I can't remember the exact number, but we conceded whatever the number was, double digits in set pieces. When we signed Milenkovic last season, I believe we were the second best team for set pieces. So I think Arsenal conceded the least, and then Forest. So what we were well known for last year is basically this absolute solid defensive block of Nico Williams, Milenkovic, Murillo, and Oleina. Oleina has been injured since the start of the season. He got injured in an international match, unfortunately. So what's happening at the moment is Zinchenko is playing on the left and Williams is playing on the right. And that in itself is working okay, but Zinchenko prefers to go into the midfield. So
he wants to invert.
Yeah, so Zinchenko is inverting into the midfield, and it works well on the attack, but you're a man down in defence. But the kind of thing that a lot of people don't really understand is that our set pieces are awful again. We're conceding a ton of them. Like every time a team gets a corner now, you can see the panic on the face of the Forest fans. So I'm not sure why that's happened, because Milenkovic and Murillo are still that kind of solid block at the back, but they're not heading the ball clear. And again, maybe it's just something to do with the tactics. Maybe it's something different on the training pitch. But Milenkovic really, and if you look at Milenkovic playing, I mean, there's a few times where I've sat on kind of row 1, row 2, and Milenkovic is like a leader from the back. He's going mad at people. He's screaming at people, telling people where to place himself. And I'm not sure that's happening this season. And I don't know if it's a loss of confidence. I don't know if it's a change of personnel on the wings, but we've gone from being a defensive blockhouse, basically, on set pieces to considering God knows how many this season. So that is a huge weakness. If Chelsea get a lot of corners on Saturday, I'd be pretty much certain that you would score from at least one of them. I don't know what our corner ratio is at the moment of conceding goals, but it must be like 3 or 4 corners to every goal we concede. So that is 100% a weakness of ours at the moment.
Well, our set piece has been really good, so
yeah, exactly.
That's definitely an area to target. We struggled, because we brought in a new set piece coach from Brentford, and it was a little bit slow at first, but this season it's really picked up. You'd think that tossing and players like that would be getting you all the goals, but it's not like that. We spread them out quite well. Caicedo's got a few. I can't think off the top of my head who's scoring all the other goals, but we are getting quite a few set piece goals. I want to ask you this, Ben, right? So before the international break, obviously we beat Liverpool, and Maresca, I'm sure you've seen the celebration. He's been given a 1-match touchline ban, and he's been fined £8,000 for misconduct during that game. So he's not going to be on the sideline. What's your take on that? Because for me, I just think that's killing the game. We call it the beautiful game. It's football's all about passion. Sure. And then you punish someone for literally doing exactly that, celebrating a last-minute winner. Like, what's your take on that whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually seen the clip itself, but I completely agree with you. Like, the passion in football is being taken out by the referees. There was I think it was the last game we played, Nico Williams got a yellow card, and he didn't even touch the guy. The guy kicked Nico Williams, and like, football for me is you've got to have that passion and aggression. If your manager wants to go, like I say, I haven't seen it, but if your manager wants to go wild and celebrate, then that's down to him. Like, that's what the fans do. So why can't the management do that? And like, touchline bans are pointless anyway. Like, okay, maybe they'll sit a few rows up, but it's not going to affect anything. If anything, he's going to be more, psychologically, he's going to be a bit angry. He's going to be more wanting to go out there and get the victory, because he's probably annoyed that he can't be on the touchline. So I haven't seen the clip, so I can't really comment. But
he ran to the corner flag. He ran to the corner flag.
Well, that's fine. Was it on the pitch, or was it still off the pitch?
I think it was off the pitch, mate. He didn't go on the pitch.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't. Okay, I'm guessing he got the fine for running out his allocated box, but that's look. If you're watching football in a pub or something, people go crazy. Like, I've been watching football sometimes at home, and someone scores a last-minute winner, and the drinks go up in the air, and it's just, that's a good thing. If I was a Chelsea fan, I would like to see something like that, because it shows like he's not just there for a paycheck. He's there because he actually cares as well. So I don't know. The game, they're trying to make the game too politically correct at the moment, I think, and they should just let people enjoy it, because some of the refereeing decisions and some of the stop-start games at the moment are just annoying.
Yeah, man. What's annoying as well? I just realized I said something that was wrong earlier. I think I said Palmer might be in contention. He's not.
He's in. Yeah, I think he's out injured.
He's not. He's not.
That's our only hope, basically, for Saturday.
Hey, Esteval.
Well, this is the thing. You guys have got such a good team. Like, you lose one person, you put another one in. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
He's been like, the thing is, last season Maresca said that he had this quote. He was like, people pay a lot of money to watch players like Cole Palmer and João Felix, basically saying they were like the two magicians. And I was like, people do not pay their money to see João Felix. I can assure you of that. I mean, he's an all right player, but it's just not the same. And I feel like Esteval finally has that little bit of magic to his game, and the end product, which you saw against Liverpool, which he is a serious player now, mate. Not necessarily in terms of the fact that I would start him ahead of Neto every week, because Neto's like that. He's just, I can count on him. I know what he's going to do. He's going to track back. He's going to press. He's a runner. He's probably the hardest worker in our team. Yeah. And, he puts in a great cross and can get a goal every game, every now and again. So I don't know if Neto starts ahead of Esteval.
I think he will as well, because players like Neto and Pedro, they always have a good game against us. And it's annoying. It doesn't matter which club they're at. Like Neto, he'll always have a good game against us. So if you can put a player on the wing who is good at crossing, we're gonna be worried. So that, if I was Chelsea, that would be my game plan: get as many crosses in as possible, and that's basically going to allow you as well, when the ball gets headed out or knocked out, to get those set pieces. So that for me is how Chelsea win the game on Saturday. Obviously, I hope you don't do it. I hope you just try and attack us down the middle and get stopped by Elliot Anderson. But I'm sure you guys are going to give us a good run for our money. And at the end of the day, you're full of confidence and we're not. So that's the biggest thing for me, because we heard a lot of times from the club last season, and you could see it in the kind of the marketing and the videos that they put out. The dressing room was so together that although we don't have the best team on paper, the kind of coming together of the team and the psychological, exactly, like the feeling in the dressing room was like no one can beat us. And I can't imagine it's like that now. I mean, we've just been speaking on Forest Fan TV on Grumpy Old Reds, and I think it was John Percy, one of the kind of local news reporters, saying that there's whispers of the players not being happy with Ange. And if that's true, and if there's already that feeling in the dressing room, then it's just going to go downhill from here. And like I say, all it's going to take is, I think, a loss on Saturday, and I think Ange is gone.
What's your score prediction?
I mean, I can't bet on Forest to lose, right? So I'm going to go with.
Hey, it's not a bet. It's just a simple prediction. Honesty is the best way.
I don't think I've ever predicted a Forest loss. I've been wrong a few times, but I don't think I've ever predicted a Forest loss. We can't score, so I'm going to go 0-0.
0-0. Mm-hmm. I am going to
go. Don't forget, we've got Matt Sells in goal, who is a very, very good keeper.
You took him from us, mate. Strasbourg, Bluco, all part of the same sort of thing now, isn't it? So, yeah, we were gutted that you got Sells, because we would have taken him. We'd much rather have him.
Fantastic. I mean, he shared the Golden Glove last year with Raya, didn't he? So he's really very good, and he's still good this season.
I am going to go with 2-1 Chelsea. I'm going to predict Forest go in front, and then we come back. That's my prediction. But I'm not sure who's going to score the goals. But I think that if you've got any sense about you, you're going to probably try and impress the crowd and press and go on the front foot.
So, yeah.
And you probably might get something for that, but maintaining that over 90 minutes, that's a different story. It's
an interesting point, though, because when we go down at the moment under Ange, then we really start to struggle, because we're chasing the game effectively. So that's where our defense. I know it's kind of an obvious thing to say, but if we're chasing a 1-0 down, that's when we can go on to lose 3 or 4-0.
Hey, well, we'll see what happens. Let us know what you think in the comments as well, guys. Check out Ben and Forest Fan TV as well in the description. I'm going to leave that below. Ben, where can people find you if you've got anything else you want to link?
Forest Fan TV. There's obviously the main YouTube channel. I think we're on about 34,000 subscribers now. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm sure there's some other pages as well. So yeah, most of the handles are either Forest Fan TV or FFTV.
Awesome. Well, listen, Ben, appreciate your time, mate, and good luck.